poppin', everybody? Who do you want to be on this wonderful May 8th, 2026? I am Kerri Lewis, and this is my amazing co-host, Yanko, and we are part of the show For No Particular Reason, which airs every Friday live at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard, 9 a.m. Central, and 8 a.m. Pacific time, where we talk about anything, everything, and nothing in between. Whatever's coming up for us this week, what's come up with our interactions with the external world, and all of the fun wonders that can appear at any given moment when you're open to experiencing it. So what's poppin', Yanko?
I was gonna say sometimes even interact with our live audience. So please don't be shy. Shoot us a message. Ask us questions, vibe with us, and let's see where this goes. I'm
Yep.
excited as
It's
usual.
always a party. And right now, I'm having a party in my body. So I am moving massive amounts of fear-based energy out. So if I burp or like make weird movements, that's just going to be the way we roll today. But I was talking to Yanko, and I wanted to have a conversation around fear and how entrapped and coded it is in our DNA, our epigenetics, and in every molecule of this human experience we're having, and how you can break free from that. So, which I'm doing right now, but it's a process, and it's a literal party in your body.
It is. I went through something similar, and it's not fun. I know that much.
Oh,
But it's like anything. I think the good out of it is that at least you're gonna clean the body, and it's gonna be a lot more lighter and in align with everything. And it'll also give you the ability to discern a lot. I mean, between your own fears or collective consciousness fears or your surrounding fears and other things like that. We kind of brushed up on it before we started because we're just like, hey, this sounds like a good topic. We can talk about it. So, yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, so for me, like, if I find myself in fear now, particularly around a really embedded belief that isn't true, but has really been pervasive within the generations of my family's history, and understand it is my family's fear as well. And I do understand that. I feel it physically in everything, my muscles, my skin, my it's just a very visceral feeling, because the more connected you get, the more you feel to heal. And I have to keep reminding myself, don't resist it, allow myself to surrender into it. But so many people operate from such disassociation or so unconscious that they're not even aware of how that fear makes manifest within their own body.
I mean, usually people just run from like something uncomfortable to something more comfortable. So that's usually as soon as you start feeling something that it's uncomfortable, you might not want to sit in that uncomfortable situation, which could be the fears, and try to move on to something more comfortable instead of just letting it run his out, like runs his energy out and kind of get it out. Not in the way that you're like physically have to do something. At least in my experience, that's not the case. It's not like you have to move it. Sometimes it might result in weird movement that the body does, which are known to some in my field with hypnotism. They have a kind of weird name for it. They call it up reactions for abnormal reactions, but they're perfectly normal to me, I think, because just that's the way how the body um, align itself and cleans itself out and sanitize itself to get to the whole, full, and complete. Instead of moving to um, separation, going back to like alignment and oneness.
Yeah.
So
So it's interesting. So I'm reading this amazing book that I have a really good friend named Yanko who sent me it. Um, and to your point, it's not it's like Kriya's. It's just action. It's just action when you don't label it and you're able to observe it
Like,
out making it good or bad, right or wrong, then you start to move it. But I will share going through this experience, it's incredibly uncomfortable. And in fact, I share with Nana quite often, frustrating as hell because I get really, really frustrated that I'm still in this movement of such pervasive fear. And I have to keep reminding myself that it truly isn't just a me belief. It's something that has been passed on through all of the generations. And so I'm not just flushing it out from my own human experience. It's being flushed out from everything that has been experienced within my ancestors moving on.
yeah. I mean, if it's in the DNA and it starts to come out, because in a way, the whole process, and that's not like, I'm not, don't take my word for it, like I'm not some kind of scientist, or this is just assumptions that I'm making, but I think it's in a way um, upgrading the DNA and changing itself up to something more evolved, more clean, and more aligned with everything around.
Yeah.
So
Which is why I would encourage people, even if this topic feels really heavy or a little bit obscure. Hi, beautiful souls. Thanks for joining the conversation and saying hi. We really appreciate it. And if you have any questions or thoughts, feel free to add them because we're
that's
happy
right.
to engage
Yeah.
with our listening audience. But I, yeah, like sound healing, going outside and grounding, leaning into practices that feel really supportive and nurturing for you while you're allowing yourself to experience this discomfort can be really helpful in moving through the process and not resisting it because even I catch myself wanting to push it away at times, and yet I know all that's doing is reinforcing the old belief systems of fear, and I'm just going to have to
Yep.
face it at some point again anyway. So I might as well just do what I need to nurture and ground myself while moving through all of these experiences.
And grounding is very, very important. In my own experience, I skipped that part, and um, I felt a lot ungrounded at times. I didn't feel like I got disconnected from the body, which I won't recommend to anybody, because this is why you have a body, to be connected to the body. So grounding really helps to bring you into this here and now, in the present. Smell, sounds, anything around your surrounding, getting your hands into the dirt or in the water, or interacting with your surrounding will bring you back into this. So yeah.
Yeah. But not resisting what's unfolding within your body while doing that. And that's something that some people, might, even for me. So, on top of reading, Eastern theologies, one of my absolute favorite books of all time is A Course in Miracles, because A Course in Miracles is literally the guidebook, very much like this book, Kundalini, in connecting with your higher self. But what I misinterpreted was to just focus on joy, 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 and bypass all of the other experiences I was having. And in doing so, is just repeating all of that process for me over and over again. So it's not that I can't be aware that I am connected to one, that I'm connected to an energy that is unmanifested, but I also have a responsibility to feel the experiences that are current and present in the moment, fear, anxiety, whatever, to have them cease to exist.
Hmm. I mean, everything is just one big happening when you realize that, and when you come to the realization that you as the idea that you have of you don't have to be involved because it's just happening, then everything becomes a lot more easier and it just flows. So, yeah.
And yet we so often habitually resist what feels less than joy filled.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I come to that conclusion that we don't want to be uncomfortable. We don't want to feel feelings and other things. And I realized that I was at that place at one point where I didn't want to feel anything. I just kind of wanted to be numb because it was hurting. And in a way, then I had an aha moment where I kind of closed myself and separated myself because like I just wanted to be in this bubble where nothing comes and can hurt me and feel uncomfortable, you know, when the reality of things is that you're part of the whole and you can separate yourself if you want to, but what's the point?
100%. Well, that's why you and I talked about it before, this idea of closing off your energy. One, I've never ever been able to make it so I don't absorb other people's energy. And I've done every trick in the book, from imagining light going into my head, grounding into the
Bubble
earth, to
around.
zipping it up, to the Archangel Michael crossing. And I have never ever not experienced the collective energy of the space that I'm in. And I mean, even more deeply, we were talking about fear and what we're experiencing right now, being able to bear witness to the pervasive consciousness of fear globally. And it is, we're part of that whole experience. So you can pretend you're cutting yourself off from it, but you're not. So for me, what I encourage people to consider is to allow yourself to witness it unfold within you, because then you actually break free from it. And for anybody who's
Yeah.
looking for a book that is based more in science and not theology, Letting Go, A Pathway to Surrender, written by Dr. David R. Hawkins, who created the map of consciousness. That book is a beautiful book in practical ways of experiencing and releasing. And he talks about his own experience with fear and being, you know, saturated with fear. And then one day, because he let himself feel it for 2 weeks, it ceased to exist in him.
Yeah. I mean, we have all those emotions that we condition ourselves to control or ignore or and that going back to what we're talking about of like how you can fear something or not fear, but usually there's the emotion of fear and you take it as something that it's you, and then you call it your fear, then you claim it and you take it, but in reality it could be fear that it's um, genetically stuck in the body from ancestors. It could be fear that it's from someone in your building. It could be fear from someone in the same space, close proximity, and could also be like a fear based in the town and city you're living in, or it could be like a whole country fear that you're experiencing. And I think the whole point of this experience is that to kind of be able to build the discernment to be able to tell what it's what in different situations. Yeah.
Well, I think for me, that's what makes me very perceptive at what I do when working with individuals is, I mean, I work with people in addiction and who have mental health issues. If they don't think that I know that they're lying to me about stuff, right? Of course I know. I feel their energy. I I know when somebody isn't being honest with me about whatever they're going through. But and I will say this for anybody who knows, my job's not to judge the individual, it's to love them, because I really do believe that we love people into healing themselves, right? I may have a tough conversation with somebody, or I may just sit back and observe and send loving energy. Regardless of what I'm called to do, it's going to be love that breaks a person's cycle of addiction or mental health issues. It's not going to be me calling them out on them lying. But going back to discernment, I'm highly attuned to whatever is unfolding within an individual in front of me. And I just allow myself to witness it without causing harm. Because if I make somebody feel threatened, or if me calling them out causes them to feel threatened, then they can contract, and that doesn't serve the purpose of their healing journey.
But I can confirm because me and Kerri we feel our energies out, and sometimes she comes and says, "Man, you're kind of like, what's going on?"
Well, you know what? The beautiful thing about our friendship is that we're honest about it. And I had
Yes,
that. I'm gonna have, like, let's just talk. We're gonna talk about envy too, because this has been coming up, right? Because envy is an
cool.
inherent state that will manifest because of fear. And like yours and my relationship, Nana and I are very open and honest about what we're experiencing. And the other day I was sharing with them, yeah, I have envy come up sometimes when I witness you experiencing life the way you do. And I say that just because that's what I'm processing through, for no other reason. And that's a beautiful thing. But it opened up this whole conversation, and Nana added this to his social media, where I watched a lot of people, something like he wrote, you can, be surrounded by people who are jealous or whatever. And all these people are like, yeah, they're so fake and blah, blah, blah. And I can't stand people like that. And I had to add him, like, the only reason you're able to bear witness to that experience is because it exists in you. If it didn't, you'd be
Yeah,
unbothered by it.
yeah.
But it comes up, that all of that just stems from fear, right? This fear that we're incomplete, we're not whole, that we're not enough. And so the more you realize that it's an untruth, the more you get curious about where it comes from rather than judging yourself, the less of a chokehold it has over your experience. And in that, you start to know peace.
To me, it's more of a at this point something that just comes up from time to time, and when it comes up, but I'm like, oh, that again, and I don't fit it. I don't interact with it. I don't care to find out where it comes from because it doesn't really matter as
Yeah.
long as it works itself out. And not that I'm ignoring it in a way that suppressing it or anything, but it's just like, okay, we're past this point. So, it's just kind of like a something that it's there, but it's like almost not there. I don't
Well,
know how
and
to
you know
explain it properly.
that's a beautiful reminder for me. Like, we are a product of habits for however many years we are.
Mhm.
Like, I'll be 46 this month. And for 30 something years, I was unaware. And so my standard default was to just operate from reaction, from, oh, this person is that, I should be envious. So when it comes up for me, now I just laugh. I'm like, up, there's that habit again.
Yeah.
Because, oh, here I go, releasing serious energy, people. Woo! Um, but no, seriously, and this goes back to, I will forever, ever in a day encourage people to drop judgment,
Yep. Yep.
because you'll
Ultimately,
never
yeah.
learn yourself from a place of judgment, because judgment condemns.
Ultimately, you want to find out who you truly are, like as much as about yourself. Make yourself your best friend. Look at the different things you do, why you do them, how you do them, in different situations. Just almost like Turn yourself into a science experience.
I love that 100%. That's, even for the most unconscious persons out there. And all I mean by that, guys, it's not that there's anything wrong with you. It's just that you're not aware of your repetitive thoughts, behaviors, and beliefs. That's all it is, right?
Yep.
And we
Yep.
have all gone through a time in our life where we were unconscious, every single one of us. So, um, don't take that as there's something good or bad, right or wrong. It just is. But even the most unconscious person, if you just give yourself permission to be open to learning about yourself, you are your greatest science experiment. And in that, you become more and more aware and you move through life so much more peacefully and beautifully because there's not an expectation of getting anywhere. You just kind of experience life.
Yeah. You know your goods and bads, and you don't go hard on yourself when something comes up that it's bad. You just know that this is maybe a program that it's running itself out. Like it's like an energy that, I was thinking about that. Sometimes when you're like really pissed off and you're angry and you're moving that energy out and you like feel like you gotta scream and like get it off. And once that energy it's ran off and it's gone, then not only that you don't feel the way, but you might even feel depleted because you moved so much energy. It's like a jolt, like you shorted the battery off and everything went on. So a lot of those things, in my experience, are just kind of like, and I connect this with karma. Like people say, karma, it's that energy. It has to run itself off, and when it's gone, then it won't matter anymore because it's not gonna push through to get to a certain point or to trigger you to do something or to
Yeah.
move you in a different direction, either to sit or not sit or act or scream or cry or laugh or whatever it is, good or bad, is just that. It's just energy running itself off. In It could be DNA, could be anything. I'm thinking more and more nowadays that we're kind of like a little antennas that we interact with other energies, and this way we can feel other people's feelings and other things because it's energy moving around. Um, so yeah, in the bigger picture is just that. If I have to compare it to something, it'll be like an antenna on the TV. The antenna doesn't get scared or angry or anything. It just, allows the energy to come in and move down the wire. This is it.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because I was talking to somebody earlier today, and I always impress upon people the importance of feeling your feelings because if you don't, you're trapping that energy and it
Mm,
has to be released at some
mm,
point. And so, the analogy I gave to this individual was, we're so quick to condemn the guy who, in a road rage incident, got out and shot the person and killed him, right? We make this assumption they're a bad person. They're not. They're an individual who probably was never taught boundaries. They were never taught how to release their emotions. They operated from some type of condition. And so what happened is over the course of their lifetime, energy built up, built up, built up, built up, built up, built up, built up in their body. And that was the culminating factor that caused them to release it. Right? And this
yep.
is why I
Yep.
don't condemn anybody because most people have not been taught how to experience their energy, how to honor it and not judge it and to feel it, to move through it. And so it gets trapped and trapped and trapped, but it has to be released. It has to make manifest. And so that is the practice of feeling your feelings in the moment so that you're not building up that energy reserve to a place where you explode.
I mean, and ultimately, at one point, it's gonna go. You either gonna have to, or the body's gonna do automatic things like kriyas and movements. Something's gonna happen, The body might get into a what people call panic attack, to allow that energy to move in, to go back to whole, full, and complete. Um, so in I can confirm that, because many years ago when I was doing support, um, I'll get all those people and energies, and I can express myself in a way that I want to express myself. Not that you know I can, in certain ways, the customer, it's always right. And, if there's stupidity or whatever going on, I wasn't allowed to do it. And then when I go home, the little thing, somebody will say something in the family, and that'll just, get me going. It was just like, I was just like a little firecracker.
Well, you know what's so funny is Nana and I were talking about this yesterday, and I love it because Nana works with people. He sells cars, and he doesn't tolerate that. Like this idea that the customer's always right is such a joke. If you're going to treat me poorly, I'm not going to tolerate it. I may not be a dick back to you, but I'm not going to tolerate it. And Nana went through an experience where this guy was behaving in a way that did not feel good for Nana. So we hung up on the guy, and he was like, I felt great about it. And I'm like, good for you, babe. I'm like, I would do the same thing.
Well, now I'll probably do, because if I'm not aligned with somebody, why I'm doing them a disservice. Like, by not speaking my truth, I would want them to speak their truth and be able to have an honest conversation, not um, getting offended or anything, because it's not about proving a point, but about be able to have a conversation with somebody um, without getting to the point where it feels like a personal attack or attacking their personality or something like it. But back in the day, it was just different story, and I went through that experience. And as you were talking about it, it just kind of flashed back, and I was like, "Yep, been there, done that." I know, you're just like so tense. You're like, sometimes you want to scream.
Yep. A
Yeah.
100%. Yep.
Now it's a lot more, and the more, and this is the thing. I don't know about you guys, but to me, when I feel like I need to get in alignment, whatever way that feels like, if I feel like I need to move the body and dance, I'll dance. Like, I was in the store the other day, and I was just like listening to move. I had the wireless things and listening to music, and I'm just like jamming and going around. If I feel like it, I'll do it. If I feel like I gotta be in nature, I'll go in nature. Whatever feels like it allowed us to unfold and bring this to kind of like a sense of completion, or
Yeah.
kind of
Well,
balance.
I like that I'll go back to earlier when you said when you scream and then you feel so depleted. Something I encourage people to give themselves permission to do is take naps throughout the day, because we are in an emotionally charged
Yep.
environment. The vibration of the earth is higher. And so dense energies are really struggling to exist in that space because you are part of nature. So are in that vibration, but your thought system is not in alignment. And so as you start to give yourself permission to have these experiences, you might feel really, really tired. And that's when you give yourself permission to take naps. I take naps all the time. I love them. And I, like you, I have 122 songs on my phone right now from me grabbing a recorder and singing to my ego or whatever, because that's what brings me joy and back into alignment. And it's just giving yourself permission to do whatever you need to do to feel good. That truly is the definition of authenticity in the first place, allowing the present moment to unfold without stopping it. So if you feel like dancing in a restaurant or whatever, you allow yourself to do that.
Or having fun, in different situations. You're allowed to have fun. Not going and saying, well, what will people think of me? Or, oh, being all this serious because it's a serious business. Being a human, it's very serious business.
Well, interestingly enough, I know I talked about this a couple weeks ago about the individual who gave me a hard time for singing at the gym. And so over the past couple weeks, I've caught myself limiting myself. I stopped singing and I said, what the?
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So finally I said, no, 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 no. I am not dimming my light because that rubbed the guy a wrong way. But it kept coming up on my soul. And when I can't let something go, because I practice forgiveness all the time, when I cannot let something go, I know I have something I need to speak. I need to speak my truth. So I reached out to the director of the Y because it's her husband. And I left a very kind video message saying how much I appreciated her, but that it's not okay that people are bullied into submission within that environment. And like Nana hanging up on that guy, I hung up and I left that message and I felt better. And then the next day I went back and sang.
Good. you know, here's the thing, and this is how usually that works. If you're in a mode where you get like um, getting interrupted, like you're in a flow and something interrupts you, like there's like a pattern interrupt or something stutter you, that usually allows the deeper mind to go into a learning mode. And somebody comes in and tells you something in that moment, it just sinks right in. Because, like, this is why usually when people are in crisis, they look out to authority figure like a firefighter or somebody to tell them, Duck, go out of the building or follow me, I'll get you out. And they're like, no questions asked, no logic involved, anything, and it just goes slip in. And a lot of those things happen. In It's good that you caught yourself, because like if that came in and went in and now you're like, I can't sing anymore because it was just like running itself in the background. You're like, no, 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 no. This is gonna get do it.
Yeah, well, even further than that, my twin sister and I were talking about it. You know, she and I have both of us have and have for many years the ability to speak our truth, like advocate for people who can't advocate for themselves. And something that I feel really called to do, that's just my personality or whatever, is if I see something that doesn't honor the collective, like the individuals, if one person is oppressing others through dominance, I will 100% be that person who speaks up on their behalf. The difference now is that I don't think I'm bad for it. So I'll be honest. So my father, whom I love immensely, he's a beautiful soul. He adopted 3 daughters at 28 years old. Like, he's just a beautiful soul, but he didn't have coping skills to raise 3 kids. And so he asserted dominance, right? And then over the time, there were more kids. And so dominance was this pervasive narrative in my family. And I was always in trouble because I would call him out on his poor behavior. I'd be like, no, you guys don't get to talk about that. Oh, babe, I love you too. I called
Thanks
Nana
for
earlier.
popping
I was
up.
like, babe, I'm going through it in meditation today. And he left me a really kind message. But anyway, so when I was little and I would stand up for a situation, a group of people that were not being honored or were being treated poorly, I then made up a story that I was bad for doing it, even though my soul, like, I couldn't not do it. Now I do it, but I know that is part of my soul. That is part of who I am. And it doesn't make me bad. It's just what I'm called to do in that moment.
I mean, like anything else, if you're in the flow, you'll feel different things, and those are the right things to do.
Yep.
And the more you sit and flow, the more you understand and learn out of that experience. So it's not just about speaking or doing; it's like taking different actions. Or if it feels like you need to sleep, you sleep. If you feel like you need to get out, you just follow that flow, whatever that is, that inner wisdom that it's within you.
Yeah.
It's you know, yeah.
a hundred
Let's
percent.
see.
Oh, I love my. So for the listening audience, Nana Ajman is I hate to say boyfriend because he's not. He's my person, man. He is my best friend. Ride or die, act a fool, be totally ridiculous, be messy. He's my, you know what? You are too, though. But Nana is my safe person. And I think everybody in this whole world needs one person that you can be completely yourself in every moment and not feel judged or controlled or made to feel like something's wrong with you. And that's Nana for me. And I know unequivocally I'm that for him as well.
I love that you're not putting it in a box and you're not like setting it as a something that why have a limit?
Yeah.
Yeah, everything and everything.
But Nana,
I
he
love
is.
it.
Yeah, we're silly, we're serious, I mean, I can't even it's I literally never know who I'm dating because I mean next day I know I'm gonna be dating Cyclops because that's his
But
newest costume.
isn't that what makes life wonderful and worth living though?
It
To
is. It's
to
so much fun.
Yeah,
It
because
really is
like
this gift.
yeah, because otherwise it just kind of gets to feel like a Groundhog Day, at
You know
least to
what? So
me.
it's so funny you say that because I was talking to this individual yesterday. He's a doctor and he was sharing how he knows about love, but he reaches out and he's like, "Up, it's Groundhog Day again." I'm like, "Well, I wouldn't want to have that experience." Uh off to sell a car. Okay, I see you, Mr. No Less Than 20. Um, but his idea of experiencing love is to do the same thing every single day, and that to me is a limit, not limitlessness, because how can you repeat the same action over and over and think that that is expansion? And unconditional love is expansion. Do not get that twisted. We were created in unconditional love by creation, from love to expand, to co-create. So to do the same thing over and over again contradicts your very existence.
It is kind of it's different, but to the mind it's boring because the mind likes to be entertained. So in a way, when something like a Groundhog Day happens, and if you're mindful of your surrounding, you start, and if you're looking for the differences, because everything is different, it might look like it's the same, but leaves could be different in the trees, grass, people, different situations. You just cannot have exactly the same
Nope.
experience twice. It's just not possible.
Yep.
But if you're mindful of like your surrounding or like what's going on, instead of just going by to go by, on autopilot, then at the beginning it might feel like a Groundhog Day because you kind of see the same thing, same buildings, same people, and um, that's the time where you can go like, wow, what can we do to spice things up?
Well, it's interesting. I'll never forget one conversation I had with somebody who was like, "My boyfriend thinks I'm losing my mind because we were driving down the street and I saw all these different things on the street." And I looked at him and I said, "Wow, we've never been down this street before." And her her boyfriend was like, "Dude, we go down this street all the time." And that is a beautiful example of being unconscious. So if I'm in the car next to Yanko and he's driving down a really whatever, it could be any street. And I'm in my head thinking about what I'm going to cook for dinner. Oh my God, my kid's failing school. I got to figure out what I'm going to wear for the for the wedding I'm going to. And then, oh, my body feels so gross. I need to go on a diet, right? I will never, ever have seen anything on that street, ever. And that's what most people do.
Well, that's the illusion also that's coming up now. More I see with giving your power away and getting into the AI and like alternate realities with like the goggles and everything else, because it takes you more of this reality. It takes you more of like being into this totally 100% present in every moment, be able to sense the scent, smell the smells, hear the birds or whatever else it's going on, and just be in. But unfortunately, for the mind, it always wants to be someplace else. Always wants the next exciting thing. Always wants to, you know, think about solving problems and other things, and you're missing the point most of the
Yep.
time.
Yep. Well,
Yeah.
I had this aha moment the other day where, now we have CRISPR, and for anybody who doesn't know what that is, they can cut DNA or RNA to mitigate certain diseases or genetic coding, whatever. And, there's always been this controversy of our ability to create a superhuman, manipulating their cells and manipulating their DNA. But what I realized was none of that really matters, because you could create the most perfect specimen in a person. And if you drop them in an unconscious family, they're going to absorb all of that stuff, and they're going to be a product of conditions, habits, and behaviors. And until they become aware
Yeah.
of that, they've just like mitigated the whole process of creating a superhuman.
I mean, usually that's like how do I say, where's that
Oh, you're
desire come
very,
from?
very kind, but I don't want to be your idol. I want you to be your own idol. I want me and Yanko and everybody to love ourselves so much, because we're all worthy of, well, I mean, shit, we're God in manifestation, man.
Yeah.
But thank you for your kind words. You're beautiful. And to all the women out in the Middle East, well, to everybody in the Middle East, particularly in Abu Dhabi, because I have family there. I want you all to know that I send you immense love and light, and I'm keeping you in my prayers. I sit in meditation every day and send you peace of mind and love. And I trust that all things are unfolding in the highest good for all. 1xvn dot, I'm going to just post it. Thank you for saying hello on Instagram. We appreciate you. If you have any thoughts, you want to join the conversation, feel free to add whatever it is that comes up for you. We
Yeah.
love a good conversation. So,
That's
yeah.
right.
You know, going back to this idea of idol, in all scripture, one of the things that I learned long ago, and I don't know, my soul has always been uniquely itself. Well, I was punished and I made up stories that said I was bad, but I was always uniquely myself. And every scripture I've ever read says worship no idol. You can have respect. Hi, beautiful. You can have respect for the growth of another individual for sure. But ultimately, we are all equal, whole, and healed. And we all get to be, we are all equally worthy. Um, and I don't know. We just, so I'm not a fan of idols. I don't idolize anything, and in fact, when I do, I suffer. So I go back to peace.
I think it's more of a like a maybe a role model or something like
That's
it.
fine. I have role models. You know who
You
on
know.
my vision board I have Christ-like, Krishna-like, Buddha-like. So there are embodiments that I strive for, and I respect that for sure. But I think that when we put somebody on a pedestal, we're inevitably going to be disappointed by them, because the reality is we're all human. All of us, every single one, and then we can make up a story around that, and I really work hard to break those stories rather than reinforce them. I love it.
Thank you, Gail. Thanks for popping up, by the
I
way.
know. Gail's looking at mini houses. Did you get one? You can always
Uh,
join and let us know. We got what, 14 minutes left. No, but that is not to negate the fact that I feel really seen and honored by all of the beautiful ladies in Abu Dhabi. So thank you so much. It means so much that you tune into our show, that you offer your insight, and that you respect us enough to keep showing up, because it's a gift to Yanko and I as well. So,
I mean, we say that every time that it's an energy exchange. We vibe with you guys vibe with us. We appreciate you showing up and, sharing the same time space with us, which is fine.
yep,
So, yeah, yeah. Gail said not yet. So, there you go.
love it.
Still looking. Yeah. Uh,
What else you got? Anything?
No, I mean we pretty much flow with it. We covered the fear thing, and I don't know. I mean, sometimes we talk about the same things, just a different spin, different perspective. So it's different.
Well, truth is always going to come up because truth is inherent. And as we speak truth, it makes manifest in the understanding of other people. So, of course, we talk about the same things through maybe different stories and different language, but ultimately we continue to say the same thing and remind people that you do have an opportunity to learn yourself, grow in awareness, move through consciousness, and exist free from fear and suffering. But it takes practice. It takes work. It's effort.
Yeah,
It's the greatest
I
endeavor
had
you'll
that. I
undertake.
had yeah, I had that realization the other day. I was talking to someone, and I realized that when we come in, we're just kind of throwing out. We're bombarded with different information, and we're allowed the mind to become the monkey that it is. And there's no. Because I was thinking, well, why have some kind of a program or something or some kind of um, I don't even know how to frame it. Some kind of path to follow or something. Because like if everybody is already the way they're supposed to be, like, well, what's the problem then? Why do something else? Why
Yeah.
go to the gym, for example? But is
Because I'm
this?
building my booty, because I want
Uh,
some hard glutes that you can ping a quarter off of. Punching.
there you go. But yeah, any kind of practice that you follow gets you out of this like a shooting in all the directions and all the sides, and allowing your mind to do what it does. And sometimes it could be like really really funny because you might go out to go get a bread and come back with a new car, because your mind give you that idea and say, what, now it's a good time to do it. You're like, let's go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, the last thing I really want to share with people, because I have this conversation, and this is going to feel like it's off topic, but it's not. When you're in a relationship, when you get married, when you enter into a contract, even if it's for a job that you have a superior that you report to, just because you're in that relationship doesn't mean that anybody gets to have power over you. And so often in marriages, in particular, in relationships, I start to see this merging of one person, you know, unconsciously, but still believing that they can control the actions of their loved one. That has never been love. That is not love. That's control. And if that's the case, why'd you get married in the first place? Because the reality is we're individuals for a reason. And I do have an issue with this because I see so many people suffer within their relationships because they're either making up a story that they're not good enough because they're not meeting their partner's needs, when really their partner is trying to change them and it's not their job, or they're being controlled to take actions that don't feel in alignment with them. So when we're thinking about living in joy and experiencing a bliss filled life, part of bliss is loving unconditionally, not with condition and control.
Yeah, but the condition gives you that sense of certainty and
Well, that's it. I mean,
outcomes and
guys,
all those other
listen,
things.
an asteroid could hit our planet right now, and we cannot control that. So let's just get off of this illusionary idea that you have control. You don't. And the more people who really, you would think that the pandemic would
You
have
really don't. Yeah, yeah.
would
I
have
even did
given you
a.
that
I did a.
information. The fact that
I
I was
did.
in the Middle East and all of a sudden there was a war that broke out a week later should give that people the information. And yet we cling to this illusion that, if I control Joe's actions, I'm going to be safe and secure. No, what you're doing is you're creating suffering.
Yeah,
Now, Joe's just as
clean.
responsible because Joe bought into the fact that Sally can control him. But at the end of the day, like at some point, you got to realize you are not in control and you have a responsibility to yourself to seek peace.
Yep.
So that's my tangent.
All right, let's bring out the comment. It might be a little too late out of
I wrote a
but here
post
it
on
is.
judgment this week stated, I am only a mirror so you can see your truth reflected back to yourself. Not my truth, not someone else's truth, your truth. And you are a mirror reflecting back what I am ready to see within me. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. And there is a little more from our friend Gil.
Yeah. It is playing with energy and it's creating a nice tush that I'm quite happy with.
And then we have a question.
Okay. Ooh, that's a really, really great question. You want to take it?
Go ahead.
Okay,
I'll
well,
chime in.
there's a couple of things that come to mind. I was always the one who dove first and the net appeared, right? So I quit a job on the spot after building it up, and I was one of the first people to build this company, and it didn't feel good for me, and so I just quit. However, that's not for everybody. And so what I would encourage you to do is, what are you seeking to fill that passion outside? Are you singing? Are you dancing? Are you painting? Are you grounding? Are you connecting with individuals that challenge your thinking? Are you really, to what Gail was saying about the gym, playing with energy? Because when you start to play, instead of judging, I can't paint, so I don't paint. Instead of saying, I can't dance, so I'm not going to dance, do it anyway. Because you start to find things that bring you passion. And the more you raise your energy, and this is the important part, is right now, I'm hearing you say that you're in a dense vibration. You're in a dense energy because you feel unfulfilled. Okay, so don't judge it. Instead, what do you need to do to bring your energy up, your frequency up? And all you do is give yourself permission to be curious and play, because that play will lead you to the next thing that you might want to do
The
for a
next exciting
career.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sit on it. Set on. Shut everything off, and just kind of feel within the body. The body will give you the sense of like that's okay or not okay or whatever, and just imagine it. Play it in your head because everything comes out of your imagination. See what inspiration you're gonna get, like which direction you're gonna go. Look for that. At the beginning, I wasn't sure about this whole process of like sitting and playing it out in your mind and seeing in your mind's eye how something gonna play out. But it really gives you a shortcut to be able to play out different scenarios the same way you can play out different crises that many people do. you know, where they can go in and think of the worst possible way or something. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about something that's joyful, something that inspires you, something that brings you that, butterflies in your inside body and everything else. A lot of those buildings, before they actually become physical, they were imagined by somebody before they were put in a blueprint. So do
You
that. That's
nailed
my
it, right?
advice.
So in the day, the era where everybody's like manifest state, think about what you want, and yeah, you can do all that because your mind is creating the experience before you actually have the physical manifestation of that experience. The reality is people are sloppy with their minds, guys. That's it. We weren't taught how to train our mind. We weren't.
Yeah.
But for anybody who wants to test this theory out, right? We have a reticular activating system right here. Think about something you want to see, a rainbow, a red balloon, Batman, whatever. And then forget about it. Just say, oh, yeah, think about it and let it go. And you will see it. If you don't ruminate on it, if you don't fixate on when you're going to see it, how you're going to see it, when's it going to show up, all of a sudden you'll be driving in your car and you'll look and you'll be like, holy shit. And anybody can access this. You do not have to have any special awareness or consciousness. And that is what starts to provide you with evidence that your brain will absolutely work for you if you know how to work with it.
Yeah. I would say don't go for the first thing that comes in mind, because the mind, it could be tricky, because the mind likes to claim different things and give you different results. And I'm not talking about the logical part of the mind. I'm talking about the the right side of the brain, not the left side of the brain, if you want to put it that way, where imagination, emotion, and other things come in, inspiration, not the logical part that says, well, if you do this, this is going to bring you more money, or this is a logical outcome, or something else that makes sense when you think of it with the mind, but just doesn't feel like, you know what I mean?
Well, I
So,
want to, can I jump in? Because that's a
yeah,
really
go ahead.
point, and I love that you shared that. So the best way that I can describe that is, my work with A Course in Miracles. My ego kicks in first more often than not. And I'm going to give you a real example. I used to catastrophize everything. Could like just catastrophize everything. So if I'm thinking about something with Nana, all of a sudden some random thought will be, I don't know, Nana's gonna go do this, and this, and then I'm gonna get in a fight and I'm gonna have to deal with that. And I'm like, whoa, like that's like totally, but for so many years I catastrophized. So of course that would be what my first thought was. But because I know how to train my brain now, I just laugh at it. I'm like, I see what you did. Unconscious thinking, cool beans. And then I make a choice. And then I think about, oh, well, what would it be like if me and Nana go to the beach for Mother's Day and he takes whatever the case is, right? And so that's what Yanko is alluding to is your thinking mind is going to jump in first. But if it doesn't feel yummy, like your body will have a visceral reaction to something that feels aligned for you, that feels joy filled for you, then it's probably your logical mind and you have to go deeper.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just if you're uncertain, give it a little more time. Maybe do it a couple of times, because moods can change, but what is really true for you, or what it's in alignment with you, it'll always be the same. It'll
Well, the
keep
other
coming
thing
back.
is, think about this. What'd you do as a kid? Like from my earliest memory, I sing. So I know singing is 100% in alignment to my soul. I sing all the time. I sing to clients. I sing to Yanko. I sing to Nana, morning messages. I just sing because that feels good for me. So if going into your imagination and doing that practice, just think about what you did that made you happy when you were little and do that. And that will raise your vibration, which will then attract more experiences that make you feel good so that you have more information to make a informed choice with. So I hope that
But
answers
I
your
think
question.
ultimately you're already on the right track, because
Yeah.
once you outgrow something, you need to move. Like once you're like not in the proper place, where you're no longer resonate, or you you already learned your lessons or whatever you wanted to get out of that situation, then yeah, move on. It's time.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with that.
100%.
Bye, Gail.
Peace and love and chicken grease. Love you. All right, you ready to roll out? We're gonna roll out until next week when we hit episode 111. You'll see. Until then, allow your soul to be
Oh,
free.
for those people that are into angel numbers, 111.
Woo! Yeah, and pretty soon, a prelude, we're going to have this amazing soul, Nicholas Faulkner, join us, and he'll be talking about his angel experience. Okay, until next week, peace and chicken grease. Bye.
Bye, guys.